Hey guys, welcome to Chat and Chill. My name is Stephen Steve87, aka Reverse Saitama, aka Shiny Potato, aka your streamer today. Welcome, and today we are doing a Chat and Chill again, like every day for the last 157 days.
Oh.
Today should be 158, believe it or not, 158th episode, and I'm very honored to have my friend here with me to do Chat and Chill together, because we have been talking for so long about this, and we finally set aside time to come together to do this show, but it will still be Chat and Chill, whereby we will be having food and drink and chat and chill. In fact, as people are coming in, let's just get the drinks and the chips out, because I want the introduction for Gunner to be when the most number of people are here. Okay, I'll open this one, and then don't open the almonds.
What do you want?
Okay. Today we have Calabi, not sponsored by them, but guys from Calabi, Japan, if you'd like to sponsor us, please DM me, please. I need a lot of sponsors.
We also have baked almonds, which are the healthier option.
Yeah, I was just telling him when we were shopping for all these snacks just now at the supermarket, that I need to lower my LDL levels.
You're complaining how expensive almonds were.
Yes, the almonds are so expensive. I cannot believe a small packet like that will cost me almost $5. Welcome everybody to Chat and Chill. My name is Stephen. As you already know, I'm the daily streamer who streams this series called the Chat and Chill. We have started these streams because of the COVID, and I started doing this on a daily basis. Sometimes we play Hearthstone, other times we play Polytopia, and in the near future we'll be playing StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2, yeah. And we'll be talking about a lot more about that later on. But today I just want to repeat, I'm very honored to have a friend and a fellow streamer here with me today. He is none other than RedGunnerGuy. And I'm gonna let him introduce himself in a while, but he has been a friend of 3 years, you say? 3 years?
Yeah, slightly longer than that.
Slightly longer, 4?
Let's round it up to 4 because it sounds better.
Okay, 4 years, a friend of 4 years. We've known him in different capacities, but he is a fellow streamer on Twitch. Do go ahead and follow him, check his videos out, check his streams out. He streams StarCraft 2. He's very committed to that game.
Yep.
And if you like Hearthstone, he has a huge knowledge base about that as well. He's very good at it, but almost as good as me. And
does not say otherwise.
Which we will hear about it in a while. But also he's gonna be the person who's gonna teach me StarCraft 2. And I'm hoping that there will be a series on YouTube about that. Fingers crossed. And it's going to be titled Teach the Noob. And of course the noob is... wow. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself, because he probably has a lot more to say that I know I'm not doing a very good job at this. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, so thanks, Stephen. First of all, 158 days. That's an amount of sheer fucking commitment and will. I have not streamed anywhere near to that much, and I'm not going to because it's not what I do. But what I do is I stream StarCraft. So to talk about how I know Stephen first, and then bring back here, like I've worked with Stephen in the past. We do a few things. I've been to him a lot in a good number of Hearthstone games.
Right.
I still hold the 1v1 record, although now we move more to Battlegrounds. You know, we clean the slate. It's currently even. So he's also been a loyal follower of my channel, comes on, hops on, gives a shout out, even though he doesn't really understand what's going on. But explosions are pretty, which is the player there at StarCraft.
Which will not stay that way.
It will not stay that way. So props to him for being able to step out and play StarCraft 2 which is currently free to play, which was a condition behind all this somehow. Yeah, but in terms of what I actually do is that I organize StarCraft in the Singapore community. I've organized 4 tournaments so far and a brand new fifth one coming up. We'll talk about that in detail a bit down the road. That's going to be a very special one because that's going to be a 2 versus 2. Big departure from traditional StarCraft. Apart from that, every Saturday without fail, that one for the last 30 odd weeks I've casted the Audai Weekly. That's a tournament for Southeast Asian players that it was originally open. This is interesting, Stefan. It was originally open only for Vietnamese players, but in March they expanded it so that anyone from Southeast Asia can come in and play. You can sign up tomorrow. Download the game, sign up, play, get an ask.
Oh, I want to ask you this.
Yeah, right.
Because like the first moment I saw Audai, right?
Yeah.
I knew I didn't know how to pronounce it, and why is it called that?
Okay. So I think it's pronounced Audai. I've never actually heard them pronounce it. I just realized it's Audai or simple. But why it's called Audai is it was called something else before that, but they changed it because that is the name of a traditional Vietnamese wedding dress, and apparently whoever organized the first one, after they changed their name, decided that's what it's going to be.
Wait, so the person who started all of this was going to get married and titled the stream a wedding dress in Vietnam?
Apparently that's the name of a traditional Vietnamese wedding dress, so yeah. I guess in the Western culture it's called the suits, but I don't know. I don't know the cultural significance behind that, but that is the reason. If you type in Audai by itself, not StarCraft 2, it will show you, I think, pretty Vietnamese women, to be fair.
Would it be like a wedding of StarCraft 2 players? Is that what their goal is?
I have no idea. I just know that they provide us with good StarCraft content. More importantly, a good place for the community to come together to play. And more importantly, it's a very grassroots movement. Because you want StarCraft 2 to thrive, you do need that grassroots things where lower level players.
The community.
The community across the board. Again, originally for Vietnam and then down to the wider sea region. So I cast that every Saturday at 9 p.m. KST, which is 8 p.m. Singapore time.
AST, I never heard of that time
Korean
before.
Standard Time.
Oh, okay. Anyways, with StarCraft, how long have you, when you start, and how long have you been, by the way, just feel free to eat, this is totally chill.
I've got my couple of elements. Don't you need elements? Don't you need?
Yes, I do. I'll grab some later.
Yeah. So to answer the question about when I got started StarCraft 2, it's kind of funny because the first version, I have been playing RTS for as long as I can remember, back in the old days when you just play whatever was on your desk.
What's RTS?
Oh yes, what's RTS? It's real-time strategy. Long story short, it's the commander fantasy where you're in charge of a base, an army, and then you go out and you fight. The closest example to the masses is chess, but that's a turn-based strategy. So that when you make one move, your opponent makes one move, but in StarCraft 2, everybody goes at the same time, everybody fights at the same time as is real life. So I have played Red Alert 2, really good stuff there. And I remember in Poly in circa 2011, 2010, that's where a friend of mine asked me StarCraft 2. And it's kind of funny because I played it in Poly just like casually. It was only after Army, as I was getting out of Army, that I really got back into the game, and then I started looking at what is the pro circuit, what are the highest level Korean players doing, and kind of following the scene there. It's kind of how you follow soccer or basketball.
Wait, so the best players are still from Korea?
Korea is still the strongest region in StarCraft overall.
In many other games.
Yes, in many other games, but in a lot of games, the rest of the world is catching up. So that was the case, but 2 years ago, a European player actually managed to beat the Koreans in an even tournament, and a few other Europeans have really come out to be able to challenge the Koreans. That being said, they're still the strongest region, but the era of outright Korean supremacy and dominance in StarCraft 2 is
waning.
Yeah, I think waning is a better term. They're still stronger than, again, you put the top 50 Europeans, and the top 50 Koreans. The top 50 Koreans would win in a team format, but you do have a few of those very top Europeans that can take down the Koreans. Even the best of the Koreans.
Do you think that I'll ever be good enough?
No, because I'm not even going to be.
Damn it! You are supposed to be encouraging, dude.
I'll tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming back to that.
You can try. I'll be happy if you're able to take those guys.
Guys, I will do my best.
Yeah, well.
There's a tickle to
And then you
YouTube
lose.
videos. What?
You try your best and then you lose.
I'm gonna learn it and then I'm gonna defeat my master.
How we do that?
Master Shifu. Wait, will you be Master Shifu or will you be the turtle? Okay. Anyways.
So yeah, that's kind of how long I've been playing StarCraft again. Call it 2011 to 2013. I went to RB, then back again 2016.
Man, that's a long time to play a game, man.
I still play the game.
Okay, so why are you so addicted to it? Why StarCraft? I don't think you covered that just now.
No.
Other than the part that is RTS. I think you like RTS.
Yeah, I like RTS because I always like that idea. Like if you read military history, you always talk about the movement of armies and how these things are positioned and how these two armies. Like StarCraft really feeds into the commander fantasy, where you're given control of a base and an army, and you have to like manage the logistics of the base in order to get the army into a good position and then take a good fight. And that's just thrilling in and of itself to be a general. A lot of other games, for example, in Overwatch, the fantasy is you're playing as a super soldier. Be it Tracer,
Magic.
Yeah, magic, science. In Hearthstone, you're kind of playing as just a player in
Dominant leader.
What do you mean?
Communist dominant leader. Controlling the army while trying to... I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, so as Stefan attempts to get his potato head to continue working.
Yes.
Yeah, so
My shiny potato head.
very shiny indeed.
Do you guys notice? I shaved just for this today.
Were you supposed to do that on stream or something?
Yeah, but I didn't do that on stream. I did it off stream.
Next week then.
So that it is really shiny today.
And I'm wearing a hat.
And he's wearing a StarCraft 2 hat.
Yep.
This is what a real game
yes.
fan would have merchandise. Oh, we'll talk about the merchandise in a
Yeah,
while.
there's a lot of mode here.
I realized that it's not just the logo, at the side it states Blizzard as well. Do you want to show them?
It's an actual Blizzard hat, yeah. So
Let me just help you with that.
yeah, switch the scenes. You got a better camera here. So this is the hat, the WCS, which used to be the name of the StarCraft 2 Pro Circuit. And on this side says Blizzard Entertainment. And I actually got it.
Don't buy the hat just for the Blizzard logo, man. It's cool enough to the side.
Oh, if any StarCraft 2 people actually in the chat decide by sell. I'll explain if anybody asks that. But moving on.
Okay.
Yeah,
so why do you like it so much?
Yeah, so apart from the fact that it gives you that power fantasy of being a commander, the other reason that it gives you near infinite freedom. Because when you're a commander of an army, you decide what that army wants. You want that army to do. You can choose to take up to these massive air armadas that have this epic battle, or you can rush the guy in the first 3 minutes and try and pull a fast one. And that's something that you can't really do in a lot of other games. It gives you it really gives you those options. Where do you want to win? Build right at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. You can come up with crazy strategies to try and outsmart your opponent. There's also the aspect of defending, which is that your opponent's going to do the exact same thing to you. And it feels so good when you actually see something happening that you understand, like, oh, he's going to go for a raid. He's going to try and drop units into my main. I'm going to put my units in position. He's going to come in, and I'm going to stop him. You take that one level next. I'm going to put my units right outside of where he's going to drop, and after he comes in, I'm going to come in and kill the raiding force, and he's going to be behind.
Is that some high level strategy thing that you just talk about, or is it very common that people...
It's very common that people do that, but being able to know the response and how to counter that in the most efficient manner, that's the tougher part. Of course, as the players get better, the attackers also going to get better as you climb the ladder.
I'm a builder, man. I will start playing StarCraft, but I'm a sort of the guy that builds and defenses until the point whereby my economy is so overpowering that the other person, no matter, they're just gonna waste units by sending them here. They're just gonna be wasting resources. And
Provided you don't break.
Yeah. So you gotta teach me the defense part.
Yeah. I mean, see, as Stefan just mentioned, that is a way of playing StarCraft, which is okay.
Building.
Yeah, I'm gonna play very passively. I'm gonna like grab all the base. I'm gonna do as quickly as possible while still staying alive, and then I'm gonna be able to outgrow you and then crush you with overwhelming numbers. The alternate playstyle is, oh, I'm gonna try and kill you right now. The cost be damn. I'm just gonna break you. There's also other sneaky weird shit that you can do. Like I'm gonna sneak people into your base in like a corner that you don't expect, and try to do economic damage so that when I attack you later, you crack anyway. So
and,
yes.
and you can take out resource trucks as well. Like those things that go out to, what are those called? Harvesters.
Yeah, in Red Alert they're called harvesters.
Yeah.
In StarCraft 2, yes, you do need your workers to go and establish new bases. There is a strategy where, oh, okay, he's taken 3 bases. I will take 4 bases and make sure he never takes a force. So it really becomes a siege on that force position. And then you then have to respond, okay, well, what are my options? Am I just going to attack him and try and kill him? Like, throw my plan out the window and attempt to win? Am I going to try and take another base somewhere else, even though it's not optimal? Am I going to do counter harass to try and knock down his economy? Am I going to try to take a hidden base somewhere else on the map that he doesn't even think it's going to be there? Attempt to out Michael. No, okay. He'll siege this worthless position. I've already got a base up and running somewhere in the mountains, so to speak. So StarCraft 2 really gives you that freedom.
The glory of strategy.
The glory of strategy, the glory of being a commander to defeat your enemy in battle. The last final point I want to put out for StarCraft on why I like it so much is that the core of the game is 1 versus 1. Like if you've played, you've played League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never your fault you lost, right?
It's always my fault that I lost because I'm a noob.
You don't play very well.
But I'll get better.
Okay.
Check out our YouTube, Teach the Noob.
We'll get to that, but yeah, but when you play team games, see that's the thing. Like, it does have its own dynamic. You know, you work as a team, you win as a team, but it can be extremely toxic as well, especially when you play online randos. But StarCraft 2 is designed about the 1v1 element. It's what my student called mano a mano. Just you and him. Who's going to be better? Win and loss is entirely on your shoulders. The only other game genre out there that I know fits this is the fighting game. The fighting game genre. Street Fighter.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
I loved Soul Calibur when I was in secondary school.
Really?
You know what? I didn't own a console, and every day after school, I would go to Funan.
Funan?
Because the consoles are there and they want to sell the game, they put out the consoles for anyone to play.
It's so far away from your house.
I used to live in the east.
Oh.
So it was a train ride of about 20 minutes and I made that investment to go down. Anyways, it didn't cost more than a meal because like, the only cost was the MRT and then the meal. And I would just spend hours there, don't tell my parents. But I did spend a lot of hours playing Soul Calibur, and I was the fat guy who wouldn't let go of the controller. And I'll just keep on playing and enjoy yourself. But you know, just so we sort of like address a question here.
Sure.
Your friend Max.
Hi, Max.
Max did ask you before I get back onto why you like it StarCraft so much. What do you think is the best race in StarCraft 2?
That answer will immediately start a war. but let's just wait. This comes back to why StarCraft is so good. If I'm not mistaken, by the way, Max is a Terran AK soldier player, but that's just the point. The key about the race is that you decide what you want to do. If you want to be the one that's the most defensive.
By the way, Chat&Chill, you don't have to be PC, okay? If you really like a character and it's an opinion, it's a strong opinion.
You!
No PC. No politically correct answers here, okay? Just be yourself.
And as a side note, the console doesn't actually have a PC, we're doing this on a laptop.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, Max, if you play Terran, I'm gonna get too good at Terran too, because like humans, right? Terran. Yeah. I used to play the older version of StarCraft.
Brood War.
Yeah.
StarCraft 1.
I don't remember what it's called. A lot of my memory like fakes me, but yeah, I remember playing humans a lot.
All I'll say to that question is that I prefer to play the humans too, the soldiers. Although I'm learning how to play Protoss and the aliens and the bosses.
So what are the races?
But yeah, so that's actually a very interesting question because there are 3 and then there's technically a 4th. So the 3 races are Terran,
okay,
Okay, which are the humans. They have the best defensive options. They're also very mechanically challenging in the sense that you need to constantly produce units. We'll get into the game mechanics when we actually get there. There are the Protoss, which are the aliens. They have the strongest spellcasters. Basically,
Oh, magic?
you can think of it that yes, magic, mana. They have the strongest
Poison?
Is
there such a thing as poison?
Not really poison. That's not really. But think about like battle cries and death battles.
Okay.
And how you deploy them in Hearthstone. Yeah, you have things like psionic storm. You have things like force fields that you need to deploy strategically on the battlefield to control it. They probably have the strongest one in that case.
I'm gonna pretend I understand just by nodding my head like that, but okay. Maybe try to at least explain psionic storm. You just say that?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just
so
try to
psionic
explain
storm is an ability that only the Protoss has. They have a unit that it basically casts an area of effect on the battlefield, and it does a lot of damage to biological units, which is all of the Zerg as well as most of the Terrans. But if the Terrans have tanks and they're protected in their tanks, then they're not going to do as much damage. But the infantry did it. But the question is,
Like an atomic bomb, basically.
It's like a mini explosion that fires almost instantly. The question is, are you able to land the shot?
With no cover, you're dead.
Yeah, because honestly, like any enemy player versus yourself is going to see that coming. Like, okay, these are the VIP targets. I'm going to take them down first. Or they're like, you're slow. I'll go somewhere else. Yeah. So the final race is the Zerg. This is a race that expands the fastest. It will get back control also the fastest. It has, I would dare say, among the strongest harassment potential.
What are they?
These are the bug aliens. These are the aliens and their original design philosophy. Have you watched Starship Troopers?
A little bit.
Okay. Like if you know about the sci-fi idea of this like hyper evolved bioorganism that has these different factors, and their goal is to just eat everything in existence to fuel themselves. This is what the Zerg is designed around. So
they carry weapons.
They have evolved to be able to defend themselves from anything that could potentially stop them. So you have basic units like the Zerg, which is a little. It's small, but it will shred through infantry if it gets close enough, and you can easily amass hundreds of them. You then have it then gets bigger and bigger. But the core idea of the Zerg is that you take bases faster, you produce units faster. The units themselves are not as strong as their Terran or Protoss counterparts, but you just have more, and you overrun them. Hence in StarCraft 2, it's called the Swarm. You take the map, you do it. And the other races is more about denying that from happening, or trying to destroy the
GDNG for a Terran.
Yeah, kind of. It's like attempting to mow them down and praying you have enough ammunition. That's how I would describe the Zerg. The fourth race is playing random, and that changes how you play the game.
What do you mean playing random?
Okay, so when you select your race, you can actually select an option called random, and it will pick one of the three races. The reason I call this the fourth race is that if you go into a matchup and you see, let's say, a Terran player, you kind of know, okay, I need to do these things, here are my options.
Yeah.
You see an alien, like the Protoss player, okay, these are things I need to do. You see a random player, now you have to prepare for anything.
But once they choose it, they stick with it, right?
Random?
Yeah.
Yeah, the computer auto decides for you.
Oh, okay. So basically, you just have like 30 seconds more to sort of decide your gameplay.
Yes, but those 30 seconds
can be less.
Yeah, but because it's real time, every second does count. It's also a psychological thing that you don't know what you're going up against. You know you have to scout. You know that this, and because there's such a minority, most players don't really have experience dealing with random players.
And the other question is why not Terran? Why is Terran not the best? I think Max is just trying to make sure that Terran gets their
Look, Terran has been doing very well. Max, Terran has been doing very well in tournaments. We just got our first with this GSL group last night. The reason that I cannot safely say Terrans are the best is Cell and Raider.
What?
He knows. I think he should know what I'm talking about.
Well, just for our viewers.
Okay, so Cell and Raider are two of the best European players, but they play Zerg.
Okay.
So if you look at like tournament winnings, they have been dominating the foreign side.
It really says. I think it really says a lot about a person when they choose Zerg a lot. Don't you think? They're like, I'm coming.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. The other thing about Zerg is that they do have the option to switch into aggression very quickly. Terran and Protoss, it both takes a little bit more prep time. But
And the best players play Zerg. Is that what you just say that?
not really.
No?
The better way to say it is that there is such strong competition from the Zerg side that you cannot honestly say that Terran is the best base unless you're biased.
Max says that whoever wants to win needs to choose Zerg. Okay, so how many competitions have you participated in?
Okay, to what I've actually done.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I participated in a few. I actually participated in the WESG, so that's the World Electronic Sports Games. It's actually a Chinese tournament, but it was open to players from all over the world. There was a Singapore qualifier. That was the first one I played and lost 4-0. Outside of that, I do join weekly tournaments. There's one that I might be joining tomorrow. These are just online tournaments, small, simple stuff to be able to play. It's good to play in a series rather than just on the ladder. I actually do make a point to play in Audai, by the way. So every alternate week, I'll actually join the tournament, play, and see what happens.
So you don't join all of them? I thought you joined all of them, no?
No, I join all of them as casters, but generally once every 2 weeks or so, I'll join as a player. So after I get knocked out, then I'll switch back to casting.
Okay, so explain that to me. Being a caster means you stream the game live and talk about it.
Yep. Think of it as a sports commentator. So he's the guy sitting at the sidelines, talking about what's going on, keep the viewers entertained, talking, play-by-play analysis, history. The switch is that, don't think about it this way, like I will play on the field for a bit, and after I'm relegated or knocked out or whatever, then I'll head to the desk and start casting.
Okay. You really like to do casting, right? Because I've seen like a lot of your streams was just casting.
Yeah, so I cast a good amount of StarCraft. I think that's the value that I can bring to the table to the community. Actually, the reason I started out casting, to go a bit of a detour how this all started, is because I wanted to organize a tournament in Singapore with the StarCraft 2 players, because there had been nothing since 2015. So it had been almost a 5-year drought. And look, if I'm going to organize a tournament, somebody needs to cast it. So
I'm gonna be coming into the game, guys. If that doesn't say that this is gonna, revive this game, I don't know what is going to.
Every player counts. You'll be well taken care of. Not to worry. So
I must be well taught first, though. You're not gonna keep anything to yourself, right?
I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to win.
Talking about that.
And look, I can tell you exactly what you need to do to beat me. I'll still beat you because I know how to do it better. It's not like that's the thing. It's not like an asshole where you can sit down. You can take your time. No, StarCraft is go. You get a hit. How do you respond? It's like that Mike Tyson quote, which everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So how can you react under pressure? But in Hearthstone, there's a 10 minute on the board. Okay, 30 seconds. What am I gonna do? I've got these.
I really hate a timer when I have like 10 things to do, selling and buying and doing. I really hate a timer. I guess I'll learn to be better at this in StarCraft. Yeah,
it comes back to like sports. Like in soccer, you don't take your time. You have to kick the ball. You have to move it. Same with basketball. Same with just about any other sport.
Which is my next question actually on the list. What was your most glorious gameplay? And I'll try to understand it, but just be as technical as you want.
Okay.
But like talk about like what was the most glorious one is it a 1v1, 1v5? What was it like? And how was it?
Story time. I think the StarCraft 2 folks and any of you on the channel will enjoy this.
And I'll switch it to you.
Yeah. Especially Max, because this was a Terran versus Terran game I played about the Outdies. So the seeding is random, and what that means is that I go up against any of the other players, including guys who are way better than me. Like the guy I got matched against had actually made it to the finals a couple of times. This guy is just like next level.
So it's 1v1?
Yeah, this is a 1v1 Outdie tournament. I don't remember the specific number, it might be 46.
All Outdies are 1v1s?
Yeah, all Outdies are 1v1, which is why the 2v2 one I'm doing is such a departure from the standard. But coming to the most glorious tournament run is, so I get this guy, and what you're supposed to do in StarCraft, the first thing you're supposed to do is call back vetoes. Basically, you pick your battlefield. each player is supposed to get I ban like you cannot pick this map, and I would like to play on this map. And then
Oh, you can do that?
yeah, in the actual tournaments there's a pick ban system. It's actually same for Hearthstone and the Index. So what happened was the other guy who knows he's a lot better. Like most of the players now they know me because I'm the caster and I'm always there. So it's like, oh, you can pick the map. So I specifically picked a gigantic map. And this is what I did. So the thing about playing Terran is, you're supposed to build up your base, you build your barracks beside the command center where you produce your units. The game starts, I immediately sent my workers to the other side of the map and built my barracks right outside his base. And I started building further. I started just rushing Marines. And then I rushed the map. The reason I did this is because if you're a Terran player and you play like perfectly standard, like the right way.
What did the other person choose for the race?
Terran.
So Terran.
Yeah, so it's Terran versus Terran.
Okay.
The thing about Terran is that you play like perfectly what you're supposed to, what's supposed to be economically efficient. You scout a little bit later. You get your barracks up, and then you start your factory to get your mech units, your cars and your tanks out. So his was halfway done when my mass infantry attack happened. And I won that game. So I beat a player that is infinitely better than me using some stupid dumb cheese. And this is the
it was just a shock factor, isn't it?
It's a mixture of the shock factor, it's a mixture of that it wasn't scouted, it was a mixture of he wasn't prepared, he didn't respond correctly. There is a very specific response that you need to do. You basically need to pull your workers at the right moment, you need to hold the ramp, but he didn't do those things.
How many minutes was that?
That's like 5 minute game.
5 minutes?
Or less, yeah.
On average, a game will be half an hour, right?
No. On average, a game is 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Generally the 10, it kind of depends on the races. Zerg against Zerg tends to be a little shorter because both sides can just rush units and then it's a knife fight. That being said, Zerg versus Zerg can also go because both sides rush units, both armies are dead. Okay, now we gotta rebuild everything. Yeah, but again,
did he swear?
No, he didn't. No. This is the moment of absolute victory. Is that I asked him because I forgot the story. Like, there's supposed to be the ban system, but he just let me pick. He didn't ban anything.
Okay.
So then I asked him, would you like to choose the map? He said, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then in that moment, I knew I put the fear in him that he's actually taking the ban seriously, that he actually picks a map to his advantage.
Okay.
And then I'm like, damn it. Like me, the nobody, I put a little bit of fear in this guy. He then proceeds to completely kill me, but I've already won the war victory at that point, and I've been hyping that up in every single, like, the odds are completely stacked, but I beat this guy. I beat this other guy. Like, even if it's like two completely unrelated players, like, miracles can happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my most glorious one. It's not like, I got all the way to the finals. It's like, no, I beat a player infinitely better than me, and just made him react and put that fear of, yes, I need to start actually playing properly now.
So on average, how many people actually join weekly to play?
Okay, so let me break this up into two parts. One is the Aodai Weekly and one is the Singapore SC2 Online. The Singapore SC2 Online, so far, these are tournaments that have been only for Singapore, whereas Aodai is weekly for the entire C region. Okay, so for Aodai, the numbers range from, the lowest we got was like 12 players. The highest we got was 141. But that was special. Yeah, that was a special occasion with increased prize pool. The average weekly is generally about 20 players. If there are other big StarCraft 2 tournaments going on that weekend, you will expect to see a drop. Because the guys who are, playing it out, they're going to switch to the bigger tournament where there's a bigger prize pool, which is understandable.
This is very interesting to me. So there's a community that actually pulls together a prize pool, like resources, to do the competitions and allow somebody to win every week. So
the Aodai side, I'm not 100% sure where they got their funding from. I wasn't with them from the start. I basically just joined because originally they did have any English casters. But to talk about community pulling funds, let's talk about Singapore SC2 Online. So I've run 4 tournaments. The first one, I just put up a prize pool myself. And so let's see how this goes. Let's see if there's a response. Can I even get 8 players? We barely got 8 players. Second one, okay, let's do it again. I drastically reduced the prize pool. Can't say that. But the fourth one was interesting. Well, the fourth one, I openly asked people for money. I'm like, look, would you be willing to chip in to support the community? Because I can't do this shit on my own. I can't fork out funds to do this infinitely. It's unsustainable. And people gave. Like, it took me half an hour after I started asking for the first $5 to come in. And there were a few guys whom actually should give one of them a shout out.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out after the segment. So, but then people gave, like, some people gave $50, some people gave 30, some people gave 24, some people gave 10. One interesting one is that one of my friends who's actually started his own business doing PCs, so he builds PCs.
Okay.
I actually got my PC off him because he's my friend. He also plays StarCraft, so he said, look, I'll do a corporate sponsorship of $50. All I ask in return is you just promote my Facebook page where I do most of my stuff. The name is Azul Frost. We'll see if we can put it up on stream. We didn't actually have that prepared, so maybe later during a section we'll see if we can put that
on
up.
YouTube we can, for sure.
Yeah, but it's on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, people were willing to give. They gave me, like, I had, in fact, this is how the 2v2 tournament comes about. I said that, look, if I'm able to raise X amount of dollars, I think it's like, okay, if I run 30, I will cap it at this, and between like 30 to, I think it was something like $70, okay, the money will be saved for a future tournament. We went almost up to $200 in overall donations. So, well, that's a big price per increase. So for the first tournament I ran, that one came to 20 players, including, I think, 5 that had never joined any of the previous tournaments. So these are like people we didn't know about it, or people who just like came out of retirement to play and have some fun. And the goal of the 2v2 one, and this is another reason why I love StarCraft, because even though the game is based around 1 versus 1, you can do 2 versus 2. You just have you and your friend running whatever armies you want to run, and good luck against the other 2 guys. But with Hearthstone, it gives like League and Overwatch. It's really just 6v6, right? League?
5.
League is 5.
5v5.
Okay. 5v5, Overwatch is 6v6. But it gives you those options, and I really want to see that because it's a completely different dynamic. Because you know, it's no longer like Terran against Terran. It's Terran and Protoss against Terran and Zerg. How do you counter that? What things synergize? But to answer your question, yeah, that's kind of what happened.
And then what are the how do you do, say if you're gonna hold it yourself other than out there, right? SC2 online. What are the mechanics of I guess, because I saw it was very well put together in terms of the charts. You could even see like which player is going up against which player, and how do you like funnel them so these 2 players are actually playing now and everybody's watching them playing, like all those mechanics. How
okay, so the mechanics of the tournament itself, this is actually something that, you know, the thing about StarCraft, it's been about 10 years. The mechanics of how to run a tournament well has already been done. The Koreans have been doing it consistently every week for 10 years. So, but thankfully, there's a web. Okay, so once you get the tournament bracket set up, you kind of already know how it's going to flow. The question is, what tool do you use to make it happen in real time? I used a website called Challenge. That website is used by a lot of other StarCraft 2 tournaments to show the bracket. So when one player gets knocked out, the admin goes in, updates the score, and the system shows, okay, this guy won, he's going up against the winner of this match versus this match next. The guy who lost, he drops down to the lower bracket, he will go up against the loser of whoever.
Yeah, it's a lot of organization, isn't it?
I had an admin.
For that one admin to do.
You also have Mika, so yes. But thankfully the system is set up and he was willing to do the work. Thank you, Creston, if you're there, by the way, for helping me do that admin work. Because I admin, I think, was tournament number 3, and it was a lot of work because I had to deal with the stream, the cast, the observing, and all this admin stuff. So thankfully I got my co-caster to help me out.
I can imagine, because I was thinking myself while watching when you're changing into the browser to look at the chart. I was like, wow, how do you even like control this, or do you build something? So now I know.
I'll be perfectly honest, I don't even fully understand how Challenge works. There's certain like aspects.
Wait, so is it a paid service, Challenge?
No, Challenge
it's free?
Yeah, that was free. I have no idea how to make money. Yeah, it's free.
So it's only for StarCraft, or do people use it for other things as well?
Actually, I think as long as you're organizing any kind of tournament of any kind, as long as you have somebody going up against somebody,
can use it.
Yeah, you can use it because you just set up a bracket. You say, okay, who be who be who. League formats might be a bit more complicated. I don't know if they have that inbuilt function.
Just teams then. Just teams. It's still like a 2v2. It's just that the teams.
Yeah, it's going to be what is called a single elimination bracket. So
there are different frameworks. There's different.
Correct. There's a lot of different frameworks. So there's a single elimination bracket, which means that the moment you lose your series, you're done. Better luck next time. There's also double in, which means that if you lose, instead of getting kicked out of the tournament, you go to a lower bracket and you go up against a loser of another match, and then when you lose that one, then you're gone.
Oh,
it's like a second chance.
Like a point system, maybe. Like 1 point, 2 points.
Think of it as 1 life, 2 life, so you can afford to have 2 losses before you're out of the tournament. So if you've lost with your first series, you have to win literally everything else, if not you're out. Whereas if you've won and you won and you won, and then you finally hit a good play and you lose, there's still a chance for you to like make a comeback via the lower bracket. What I mean is the league systems that what's it called? The ELP? English Premier League. EPL, yes. So there was a point system of a league system. I don't know if Challenge could do that. But single and double and
it's very interesting for me. Hello, DarkVoid322. Hello, Fellowship and Co. He just screamed StarCraft!
Yes.
In exclamation mark. Say thanks for coming, guys. We are doing Chat and Chill today. It is with my friend RedGunnerGuy. Shout out to him. Today is going to be slightly different, but the same. We are still eating, we are still chatting, we are still chilling. Welcome everybody on the stream. If you're here for the very first time, do go ahead and say hello. Today we're having a conversation with a good friend of mine. He is none other than Gunner. I call him Gunner. In fact, I just told him just now. I call him Gunner so much that I don't remember his name. Like there was this one time when I was on WhatsApp looking for his name. I actually typed in Gunner to find him instead of his real name. But he is a man of many layers, a lot of stories to tell. Mostly StarCraft. We're just like chipping off the tip of the iceberg right now. But there's so much more to this guy, and I really want to get a lot more from you.
Thanks for popping by, Dark Void.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Dark Void. We were talking about his most glorious competition just now,
people in the chat, feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions. If you don't get to your questions, I do apologize. But we will try to do like just now. Whenever I see a question, I will slip it right in. Okay.
Stefan's a good host. He'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Also,
not such a good Hearthstone player, but a good host.
Oh, that is not proven yet, my friend.
Yes, it is.
It's 1-1 now. So, I feel like I have a better chance at beating you in the Battlegrounds.
Yeah, Battlegrounds.
I have a better chance there than a curated deck.
Now, curated deck is a load of bullshit. Look at the curated deck. It really depends whether the guy spent money or not. Because you spend a lot of money, you get a better deck.
I didn't spend any money, and you didn't, right? So it's fair.
Actually, I no, but you still had an RNG. Whereas Battlegrounds, we're both starting off like on a fairly equal footing to
I really like Battlegrounds, but we will get to that in a moment.
There's the Hearthstone section.
I'm going to give you an opportunity, like you had so many times, to sell StarCraft 2 to the audience. So you have 1 minute, and you only have 1 minute to talk about. I mean, we have been talking about StarCraft 2 for a very long time, but if you're going to convince someone about how fun StarCraft 2 is, like you have persuaded me, you have 1 minute to do it.
Okay, so...
And you can start anytime.
Okay, look, the reason I would say that you should try StarCraft 2, apart from the fact that it's now free to play, is that it gives you options...
Free to play!
Yes, it's free to play. It gives you options that you don't get in any other games. It gives you that competitive edge. It gives you that kind of fun of being the commander, being the general, ordering your men into battle, and then, coordinating it into the fight. But here's the thing, even if you're chill, StarCraft 2 now has a lot of chill options. There are things like co-op, there are things like going up against the computer, just having fun on your own.
Are you talking about chill?
Oh yes, it can be very chill.
How chill can it be? It's war.
Against the computer, and you got a lot of crazy options there.
Oh yeah, AI, my favorite player.
Yeah, you go against the AI, but if you want to have that community, it's already there. Out of that community, I manage a community, so to speak. So yeah, there's a good community build. You really build friends to it, and it's just a game that you just gotta try. It will give you the freedom if you want to be told exactly what to do. It will tell you exactly what you need to do.
Okay, and if you only had 3 words to describe it, which 3 words would you like?
The way I describe StarCraft in 3 words is that Burn the enemy base.
Say that again.
Burn enemy base. See, this is,
Enemy base.
see, that's the thing. Like when I'm raising what I like about StarCraft, like I raise an army, I send them out and I burn the enemy base to the back. Like just go there, like wipe the slate clean.
I'm afraid of you right now. Okay.
That's my Hearthstone.
I think we could take a break right then and actually talk about the things you brought for us today to find a table, man.
The stuff.
Yeah. Any last words? Last comments on our live stream? Last words. That's wrong thing to say. Last comments? I'm pretty impressed. We went over 3 hours.
We haven't started talking about time travel yet.
Yeah, we'll probably be in the next challenge though.
Yeah, the next Chat&Chill. Not really. Follow me on. Okay, so
Yes, please do a shout out for your channels and all that.
So for my stuff, you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Twitter is where I post most of the updates of the content, whereas Twitch is where I post. See, that's the beautiful thing, right? Twitter is to see what's coming in the future. Twitch is to join in the present, and YouTube is to see what's already happened in the past. That's kind of the core platforms you can find me on. I have Instagram, but it's not that active, I'll admit. I believe Stefan and his wonderful moderator gaming has a command for that. If you're still here, go and follow. Of course, follow Stefan. He's been doing this every night, and he's hosted this Chat&Chill where I basically come in this bladder for 3 hours.
We just play games.
3 hours,
and talk.
15 minutes.
It's really chill. Yeah. This was chill too. This was good. I mean, I learned so much about StarCraft.
Hi guys, thanks for watching. Here's another video to check out. Remember to subscribe. Chat&Chill.